A black man stands outside a barber shop in the Englewood neighborhood on Chicago's South Side. He is well-built, 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, wearing a fitted black t-shirt, jeans and designer sunglasses while talking on his phone and laughing with friends inside the shop. Just a regular afternoon in his neighborhood. Then a police car pulls up, a black and white Chicago Police Department cruiser. Officer Ryan Mitchell steps out, a white male with a buzz cut. He looks at the black man, looks at the sunglasses, looks at the tattoo sleeve covering his right arm, looks at the neighborhood, and he makes a decision. He walks directly up to this man, reaches out without warning, and snatches the sunglasses right off his face. No introduction, no explanation, just takes them. The black man stands there blinking. "Excuse me." Officer Mitchell holds the sunglasses up to the light. "Versace designer, $400. Where'd you steal these?" Not asking, demanding. "These are way too expensive for someone like you to afford legitimately. Someone like you." The black man takes a breath. He stays calm. "Officer, those are mine. I bought them. Can I have them back, please?" Mitchell laughs. "Yeah, I'm sure you bought them. Just like I'm sure you're not in the Gangster Disciples, based on that bandana in your back pocket and those tattoos all over your arm." He is looking at the tattoo sleeve now, seeing what he expects to see. Gang tattoos. Gang colors. Gang member. "I'm not in a gang," the man says quietly. "Those tattoos are military service tattoos. And that's not a bandana. It's a save it. I know a gang member when I see one. You fit the profile perfectly." The man tries again. Patient, respectful. "Officer, I think there's been a misunderstanding. If you'll just let me explain." Turn around. Hands on the wall. "Now what? Why?" "Because I'm giving you a lawful order. Or do you want to add resisting to your charges?" The man looks at the barber shop window where faces are pressed against the glass, watching. He looks at the street where people are pulling out phones. He makes a calculation. The same calculation too many black men have to make on American streets every single day. Comply or resist. Survive or stand your ground. He chooses survival. He turns around, places his hands flat against the brick wall, assumes the position he has seen 1,000 times, the position he has taught other young black men to take to stay alive. Officer Mitchell steps closer, starts to pat him down, searching for weapons, for drugs, for anything to justify this stop. What Officer Mitchell does not know is who this man is. He does not know what those tattoos actually represent, what that bandana really is, what is about to happen. Because inside that barber shop, someone is recording everything on their phone, streaming it live. And someone else is making a phone call to people with power, with influence, with the ability to change everything. And the black man standing against that wall with his hands up, letting himself be searched for crimes he did not commit. His name is Darius Washington. Sergeant Darius Washington, United States Marine Corps, retired. He has years of service, combat tours in Afghanistan, a Purple Heart for wounds received in combat, a Bronze Star with Valor for heroism under fire, a Navy Cross for extraordinary heroism, and he is a Congressional Medal of Honor nominee for pulling 3 Marines out of a burning vehicle while under enemy fire. He has killed enemy combatants to protect his brothers. He has saved American lives at risk to his own. He has bled for his country on foreign soil. And Officer Ryan Mitchell just called him a gang member, snatched his sunglasses, accused him of theft, ordered him against a wall like a criminal in his own neighborhood outside the barber shop, where he has been getting haircuts since he was a boy, in front of the community where he is now a mentor, a leader. A decorated veteran working to save kids from the gang life that killed his older brother, Officer Mitchell, has a short window before he realizes his catastrophic mistake. This is the story of what happened when a police officer made an assumption based on skin color, when implicit bias met military valor, when a decorated war hero was treated like a criminal for being black in that neighborhood. This is the story of Sergeant Darius Washington, and Officer Mitchell is about to learn a lesson he will never forget. Let's understand who Darius Washington really is. Born and raised in the Englewood neighborhood on Chicago's South Side, he lost his older brother Tyrone to gang violence when Darius was a boy. Tyrone had served in the Army, came home, got caught up in the streets anyway, and was shot and killed in a drive-by. Darius joined the Marines at 18 to escape that life. He served with distinction, was medically retired after an IED blast sent shrapnel through his left leg. Coming home was harder than deployment. For a while, he barely left the house, dealing with PTSD, nightmares, rage at a system that sent him to war and ignored him when he returned. Then, 2 blocks from his childhood home, Chicago PD shot an unarmed black kid named Jamal Harris. Running from a traffic stop, shot in the back, survived but paralyzed. Darius knew Jamal, knew he was not in a gang, just scared and young. That is when Darius started Veterans Against Violence, a mentorship program using military veterans to work with at-risk youth on the South Side, teaching them alternatives to gang life, teaching them skills, teaching them how to survive police encounters. Because Darius knew what it was like to be a black man in America, being a decorated Marine did not protect you from being black. The uniform came off, the skin did not. So he taught kids to stay calm, comply completely, hands visible, no sudden movements, record if possible. Survive first, seek justice later. By this afternoon, Darius is at Mr. Franklin's barber shop. Mr. Franklin is a Vietnam veteran who has been cutting hair there for many years. The barber shop is more than a business. It is a community center, a safe space. Darius spends every Saturday afternoon there, talking to young men at the crossroads between school and streets, between future and prison, between life and death. Today, 7 young men are inside when Darius steps outside to take a phone call. It is Colonel Jennifer Park, his former commanding officer, now at the Pentagon. Darius is standing on the corner, phone to his ear, laughing about something. He is wearing his black t-shirt, jeans, Versace sunglasses his wife Monique bought him for his birthday. His tattoo sleeve is fully visible. The American flag folded in his back pocket is the flag from Tyrone's military funeral. Darius carries it everywhere. Then the police car pulls up. Darius sees it. His body tenses slightly. Old instinct, but he is not doing anything wrong. He is just standing there. Officer Mitchell gets out, stares, eyes moving from Darius's face to his tattoos to his sunglasses to the neighborhood. Darius sees it happening, sees the calculation, sees the assessment, sees the decision being made. He tells Colonel Park he has to call her back. A police officer just pulled up. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Just being careful. Call me back in a few minutes. If you do not, I am calling the Chicago Police Commissioner. The colonel is not joking. She has that number." Darius hangs up, puts the phone in his pocket, stands still, hands visible, non-threatening posture. Everything he teaches kids to do. Officer Mitchell walks toward him, direct, purposeful, hand near his gun belt, and Darius knows. He knows exactly what is about to happen. But Darius stays calm, does not run, does not reach for anything, does not make sudden movements. Mitchell walks right up. Close, too close, invasion of personal space. No greeting, just action. He reaches up and snatches the sunglasses right off Darius's face. Inside the barber shop, Mr. Franklin sees what is happening. He tells everyone to get their phones out and record this now. 3 young men pull out their phones and start recording through the window. Nicole Rivera, walking past on her way home from the community center, sees the interaction, pulls out her phone, starts recording and streaming live on Instagram and Twitter. Darius, standing there without his sunglasses, sun in his eyes, says calmly, "Officer, those are mine. I bought them. Can I have them back, please?" Mitchell laughs. "Let me guess, you have got a receipt." "Yes, actually, in my wallet. My wife bought them for my birthday. I can show you. I'm sure you can show me a fake receipt. That does not prove anything." Darius takes a breath, stays calm. "Officer, I am not sure why you stopped me, but I have not done anything wrong. Can I ask what this is about?" Mitchell looks at him, at the tattoos, at the jeans, at the fitted t-shirt, at the neighborhood. "You know what this is about? You are standing on a known gang corner with gang tattoos, expensive stolen property, and a bandana in your back pocket. You are a gangster disciple." Darius feels his heart rate increase, not from fear, from anger, from the sheer absurdity. "I am not in a gang. Those tattoos are Marine Corps insignia, United States Marine Corps, and that is not a bandana. It is an American flag from my brother's funeral. He was Army." Mitchell smirks. "Right. And I am supposed to believe you're military. Stolen valor is a crime. I am not claiming anything. It is the truth. If you will let me get my wallet, I can show you my military ID. Turn around." Hands on the wall now. Darius does not move. Am I being detained? Am I under arrest? You are being detained for investigation now. Turn around, or I will charge you with resisting. Darius looks at the barber shop window, sees the faces, sees the phones. He thinks about everything he teaches. Stay calm. Comply. Survive. He chooses survival, turns around, walks to the wall, places his hands flat against the brick. Mitchell approaches, starts to pat him down, rough, more aggressive than necessary, finds Darius's wallet, pulls it out, opens it. California driver's license, credit cards, and there in a clear plastic sleeve a military veteran ID card. United States Marine Corps, Sergeant Darius Washington, honorably discharged. Mitchell looks at it, should recognize what it means. Military ID. Lots of gang members claim they are veterans. You probably bought this online. Stolen valor is a federal crime. Mr. Franklin cannot take it anymore. He walks outside. "Officer, that is Darius Washington. He is a decorated Marine. He served in Afghanistan. He is a Purple Heart recipient. He runs a youth mentorship program. He is not a gang member. You need to let him go." Mitchell turns, sees an older black man approaching, goes defensive. "Sir, step back. You are interfering with a police investigation." "I am not interfering. I am telling you the truth. That man is a war hero." Mitchell's hand goes to his gun, not drawing it, just touching it, making the threat clear. "Step back now, or I will arrest you for interference." Mr. Franklin backs away, hands up, but he pulls out his phone, starts making calls. First to Darius's wife, Monique. Second to a city council member. Third to local news. Fourth to the ACLU of Illinois. All within minutes. Meanwhile, Mitchell is still searching. He finds Darius's phone, finds his keys, finds the folded American flag. Mitchell pulls it out, holds it up, blue fabric visible. This your gang colors. Blue bandana. Gangster disciples. Darius still against the wall. That is an American flag from my older brother's military funeral. He was Army, killed in gang violence after he came home. I carry it to remember him. Mitchell unfolds it slightly, sees the stars, sees the stripes, but he is committed now. Cannot back down. Okay, so it is a flag. That does not prove anything. He keeps searching, finds the dog tags Darius wears on a chain under his shirt. Mitchell pulls them out, reads them. Washington, Darius J, USMC. For a second, Mitchell hesitates, looks at the ID again, looks at the dog tags, looks at the tattoos differently. Maybe this guy actually is military, but there are witnesses watching. If Mitchell backs down now, he looks weak. So Mitchell doubles down. These could be fake, too. They sell dog tags at surplus stores. Darius says something he will later wish he had not. Officer Mitchell, I am trying to be patient, but you need to stop. You are making a mistake. I am a Marine Corps veteran. That ID is real. Those dog tags are mine. And you are violating my constitutional rights by searching me without probable cause. Mitchell's face hardens. Are you threatening me? No. I am informing you of your legal obligations. You are a lawyer now, too. You are under arrest for what? Disorderly conduct, resisting investigation, possession of stolen property, pending verification. Darius closes his eyes, takes a breath. Officer, you are making a serious mistake. I have done nothing wrong. You have no probable cause to arrest me. I have all the probable cause I need. Turn around. Put your hands behind your back. And that is when a new voice cuts through the tension. Officer Mitchell, what exactly is going on here? A woman approaches. A black woman in Chicago Police Department uniform with sergeant stripes. Sergeant Carla Hayes, Mitchell's supervisor. She knows Darius. They have both attended veteran community events. She has heard him speak about his program. She knows exactly who he is. And now she is watching Mitchell search him against a wall, while a crowd gathers with phones recording everything. Officer Mitchell, step back and brief me. Mitchell steps back, relieved. Sarge, I have got a suspected gang member here. Expensive stolen property. Gang tattoos. Gang colors. Fake military ID. He has been combative and threatening. I was about to place him under arrest. Hayes looks at Darius. He is still standing against the wall, hands visible, completely still. She has seen that look before in the mirror and in other veterans. The look of someone staying calm under pressure through pure discipline. Sergeant Washington, she says. Darius turns his head. Sergeant Hayes, good to see you. The use of rank is deliberate. Military to military, veteran to veteran. Mitchell looks confused. You know this guy? Hayes walks closer. Sergeant Washington, are you all right? I am unharmed, ma'am, but I would like my sunglasses back and an explanation. Hayes turns to Mitchell. Her face is cold, professional, but angry underneath. Officer Mitchell, do you know who this is? He says he is some kind of Marine. But this is Sergeant Darius Washington, United States Marine Corps, retired. Combat tours in Afghanistan. Purple Heart. Bronze Star with Valor. Navy Cross. He runs Veterans Against Violence, a youth mentorship program right here in the neighborhood. He has been featured in the Chicago Tribune, honored by the mayor, and he works with our Community Outreach Division. Mitchell's face drains of color. Hayes holds out her hand. Give me the sunglasses. Mitchell hands them over. Hayes walks to Darius, hands him the sunglasses. Sergeant Washington, I apologize on behalf of the Chicago Police Department. This should never have happened. Darius takes his sunglasses, puts them back on. I appreciate that, Sergeant Hayes, but an apology is not enough. Officer Mitchell snatched property off my face without cause. He searched me without reasonable suspicion. He accused me of crimes I did not commit. He threatened a witness who tried to defend me, and he did all of this while being recorded. He gestures to the crowd. At least 6 phones pointed at them. Hayes sees the phones, understands immediately. This is going to be a nightmare. Officer Mitchell, return all of Sergeant Washington's property immediately. Mitchell pulls the items from his pockets, hands them to Darius without looking at him. Darius checks everything, puts it all back, looks at Mitchell. Officer, I know you were trying to do your job, but you made assumptions based on how I look and where I am. You saw a black man with tattoos in Englewood, and you assumed gang member. You assumed criminal. You assumed everything except the truth. That is racial profiling. That is the reason black men do not trust police. Hayes nods. You are absolutely right. This will be addressed. Officer Mitchell will be returning to the station with me. Darius looks at the crowd, at the phones, at the kids inside watching. This is proof of everything he has been telling them. Officer Mitchell, I accept your unspoken apology, but I need you to understand something. This did not end badly today because I stayed calm, because I complied, because I did everything right. But there are hundreds of black men in this neighborhood who have done everything right and still ended up arrested, beaten, or dead. You need to examine why you made the assumptions you made. Mitchell nods, mumbles something that might be, yes, sir. Hayes says, Sergeant Washington, is there anything else you need from us? Darius thinks, no, I am going home to my family now, but this conversation is not over. He starts to walk away, then stops, turns back. Actually, there is one thing. Those young men in the barber shop just watched a decorated Marine get profiled and searched for doing nothing. They just learned that even military service does not protect you from being assumed to be a criminal. Think about what that means for how they view police. He does not wait for an answer. He walks back into the barber shop. The kids inside surround him, talking all at once. Darius raises a hand. They stop talking. What you just saw is what I have been teaching you about. That officer made assumptions based on race, based on neighborhood, based on stereotypes. He was wrong. But he could have arrested me, could have hurt me, could have escalated to violence. That is why I teach you to stay calm, comply, and survive. Because being right does not protect you. He looks at them. But here is what else you saw. His supervisor showed up. She knew who I was. She corrected him. The system is not all corrupt. There are good cops. Do not give up on believing that. Jamal, 16 years old, says quietly, but Mr. Washington, you are a war hero. You got medals and he still treated you like that. What chance do we have? Darius does not have a good answer because Jamal is right. You have the chance I give you. You have the program. You have mentors. You have options. And you have me fighting to make this city better. That is why this work matters. His phone rings. Monique. He answers, "Baby, I am fine. I am at the barber shop. Yeah, I am okay. No, I was not arrested. I will be home soon. I love you too." He hangs up. Mr. Franklin says what everyone is thinking. "Darius, you know that whole thing is online by now, right?" Nicole was streaming it live. Darius pulls out his phone, opens Twitter. Justice for Darius is trending. Marine Profiled is trending. The video Nicole streamed has thousands of views already. And it is spreading. TMZ and local news outlets are retweeting. Decorated Marine racially profiled by Chicago PD. War hero called gang member by police. Darius puts his phone away. This is bigger than he thought, and he needs to decide what to do about it. Within an hour, the video has been viewed millions of times. Nicole Rivera's live stream captured everything. The sunglasses snatch, the accusatory questions, Darius's calm responses, the search, Mr. Franklin being threatened, Sergeant Hayes arriving. Clear video evidence of racial profiling. It is on every news website. CNN. Decorated Marine racially profiled by Chicago PD video. MSNBC runs the video on loop. Even Fox News cannot defend this one. Their headline, Chicago PD officer mistakes war hero for gang member. Social media explodes. Twitter hashtags trending. Justice for Darius, veteran profiled Chicago PD accountability, Darius Washington. Veterans organizations respond immediately. Marines United releases a statement. Sergeant Darius Washington served with honor and distinction. He earned the Purple Heart through sacrifice. He earned the Bronze Star through valor. He earned the Navy Cross through extraordinary heroism. Today he was treated like a criminal by an officer who made assumptions based on skin color. This is unacceptable. Officer Mitchell must be held accountable. Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. Darius Washington is one of ours. An attack on him is an attack on all of us. We stand with Sergeant Washington. We demand justice. Vietnam Veterans of America. We watched our black brothers return from Vietnam to face racism and discrimination. A black Marine faces the same treatment. This must end. The military community is unified in outrage. Political responses roll in. Chicago Mayor Anthony Garcia holds an emergency press conference. I am appalled. Sergeant Washington is a decorated war hero who makes our city safer. He was treated disgracefully. I have demanded a full investigation. Illinois Governor Elizabeth Santos tweets, "I have watched the video. This is unacceptable. Our veterans deserve respect, not racial profiling." A U.S. Senator from Illinois says, Sergeant Washington served combat tours defending our freedom, was wounded in action, saves lives through his mentorship work. Today he was treated like a criminal for standing on a street corner while black. This is why we need comprehensive police reform. The Secretary of Veterans Affairs releases a statement. We are deeply troubled by what the video shows. America's veterans have earned the right to be treated with dignity. Legal organizations move quickly. The ACLU announces an immediate investigation. The NAACP Legal Defense Fund offers to represent Darius. Multiple civil rights attorneys call Darius directly. 3 law firms send representatives to Darius's home in a quiet South Side neighborhood. Darius sits in his living room with Monique and his daughters, Brianna and Taylor. The girls do not fully understand, but they know their daddy was bothered by police, and they are worried. Darius holds them both. Daddy is okay. The police officer made a mistake. But I am fine. Monique is furious. Watching that video of her husband being searched against a wall broke something in her. You cannot let this go, Darius. If you do, nothing changes. I know. I am not letting it go. There is a knock. 3 attorneys. Attorney Carmen Lopez from Lopez and Associates, Latina. Former public defender, brilliant trial attorney with major civil rights cases. Attorney David Kim from Kim Law Group, Asian American. Federal civil rights litigation specialist. Attorney James Freeman from Freeman Legal. Black man, legendary civil rights attorney who has argued before the Supreme Court. They sit in his living room. Attorney Lopez speaks first. Sergeant Washington, that video is going to change your life whether you want it to or not. You are about to become the face of police accountability. The question is whether you want to control that narrative or let it control you. Attorney Kim adds, you have clear grounds for a federal civil rights lawsuit. Section 1983, deprivation of rights under color of law. Video evidence. Witnesses, Officer Mitchell's own words. This is as clear-cut as these cases get. Attorney Freeman leans forward. But you need to understand, son. If you pursue this, it is going to get ugly. The police union will defend Mitchell. They will try to dig up dirt on you. They will drag your name through the mud. Your family will be affected. Your program might be affected. You need to decide if you are ready for that fight. Darius looks at Monique. She nods. Darius turns back. I am in, but I need to make something clear. This is not about me getting paid. Every dollar from any settlement goes to Veterans Against Violence. I do not want to profit from what happened. I want to use it to expand the program. The attorneys exchange glances. Most plaintiffs keep settlements. Darius is different. We can structure it that way. Freeman says, but Darius, you deserve compensation. I have VA disability, GI Bill benefits. My wife has a good job. We are comfortable. The community needs the money. The kids need it. That is where it goes. Lopez says, then let us talk strategy. We file a federal civil rights lawsuit against Officer Mitchell personally and against the Chicago Police Department for negligent supervision. We demand Mitchell be fired and decertified. We push for a consent decree requiring comprehensive reforms. And we make this case about more than just you, about every black person who has been profiled, every veteran who has been disrespected. How long will this take? It could be months. It could be years. But with this video, with your credentials, with public support, the department will want to settle quickly. What if I don't want to settle quietly? The attorneys smile. Kim says, then we go loud. We go public. We make the department's misconduct part of the national conversation. We force real change. That is what I want. I did not stay calm on that video so I could accept a quiet settlement. I stayed calm to gather evidence, to show what this really looks like. I want that evidence to create change. Freeman nods. Son, I've been doing this for decades. Most victims just want justice for themselves. But you are different. You are thinking bigger. You are thinking about the mission. That is the Marine in you. Semper Fi, Darius says quietly. Always faithful to the cause. I respect that. We will make sure your sacrifice means something. They spend hours strategizing. By evening, the attorneys leave. Darius sits with Monique watching news coverage, his face on every screen, the video playing over and over. His phone has not stopped ringing. Colonel Park calls from the Pentagon. Darius, I started making calls the second I heard. By the time I got through to the Chicago Police Commissioner, the video was viral. How are you holding up? I am okay, ma'am. Angry, but okay. I have talked to the Commandant. The Marine Corps stands with you. We are issuing a formal statement tomorrow. And Darius, every Marine in the Corps is watching this. You handled yourself with honor. You represented the Corps well. We are proud of you. Darius feels emotion catching in his throat. Thank you, ma'am. Give them hell, Sergeant. That is an order. Aye, ma'am. He hangs up. Monique is crying, not from sadness, from pride. Baby, I am scared, she says. I am scared they are going to come after you. I am scared this is going to destroy our life. Darius pulls her close. I know, but I cannot let fear stop me. I have faced enemy fire. I have survived IED blasts. I cannot let one racist cop make me afraid to stand up for what is right. I know. That is why I love you. But Darius, promise me you will be careful. Promise me you will not forget about us. I promise. You and the girls are my mission now. They sit together watching the news, holding each other, preparing for the battle ahead. The next morning, Darius wakes up on the front page of every major newspaper. But it is not just about yesterday anymore. Because journalists started digging into Officer Mitchell's history, the Chicago Tribune investigative team filed requests for Mitchell's personnel records. What they found is damning. Officer Ryan Mitchell, a few years on the force. Before that, a couple of years with Cicero Police Department. Total complaints, dozens in his career. Breakdown, most from people of color. The Tribune contacts every person who filed a complaint and gets many on the record. Case after case of pretextual stops on minority drivers, searches without cause, no apologies. The pattern is undeniable. Mitchell targets people of color, makes pretextual stops, searches without cause, finds nothing, faces no consequences. But the Tribune goes further. They request Mitchell's employment records from Cicero PD and discover something explosive. Mitchell did not leave Cicero voluntarily. He was under investigation. The Tribune interviews a former Cicero officer willing to talk anonymously. The whistleblower explains Mitchell had a reputation. We knew he had a problem with minorities, made racist jokes in the locker room, called black suspects thugs, referred to Latino neighborhoods in derogatory terms. We complained to supervisors. They did nothing. Then the ACLU started nosing around. So Cicero made Mitchell a deal. Resign quietly. They give him a positive reference. He moves to another department. Everyone pretends the problem never existed. This is the bombshell. Cicero knowingly passed the problem officer to Chicago PD. The story breaks. Lead story, officer who profiled Marine was investigated for racism at previous department. Cicero PD hid records. Chicago PD hired him anyway. Public reaction is immediate and furious. If Cicero had done their job, Mitchell would never have been at Chicago PD. If Chicago PD had done proper background checks, they would have discovered the investigation. This is not just about one bad cop. This is about a system that creates, protects, and transfers bad cops between departments. By that afternoon, calls for accountability expand. Protesters outside Cicero City Hall demanding the police chief resign. Protesters outside Chicago PD headquarters demanding reform. Veterans groups announce a march from Englewood to Chicago PD headquarters for the following Saturday. Thousands expected. The ACLU announces a federal lawsuit against both departments for pattern and practice of protecting problem officers. The Illinois Attorney General announces an investigation into officer transfer practices statewide. to determine how many other departments are passing problem officers around. Darius watches from his living room, his life becoming a national cause. Attorney Lopez calls. "Darius, have you seen the Tribune investigation?" "Just reading it. This changes everything. We are not just suing Mitchell and Chicago PD. We are suing Cicero PD for fraudulent reference and knowingly concealing misconduct. We are going after the supervisors who protected him. We are going after the system. How big is this going to get? As big as we want it to be. We have evidence of systemic failure across 2 departments, pattern of racial profiling, clear paper trail of dismissed complaints, conspiracy to hide misconduct. Darius, this case could force reform across the entire state. Good. That is what I want. But prepare yourself. Mitchell's defense team is going to come after you hard. They will try to find anything in your past they can use. Let them look. I have got nothing to hide. I know, but they are going to try to make this about you instead of about the systemic problem. Let them. The video speaks for itself. Lopez pauses. Darius, there is something else. Mitchell's attorney leaked information to a conservative outlet, claiming you have gang connections because you work in gang neighborhoods. Darius laughs bitterly. Of course, I work with at-risk kids to keep them out of gangs, but they are going to twist that. That is the strategy. Character assassination. Then we fight back with facts, with my service record, with testimonials from the kids I have helped. They want to make this about character. Let us compare my character to Mitchell's. That is exactly what we are going to do. Be ready. This is about to get ugly. Conservative media runs stories questioning Darius's motivations. Headlines: decorated Marine or race baiter. Questions emerge. Did Marine veteran bait police officer? Darius reads them and channels his anger. Turns frustration into determination. He calls a press conference. Standing with him, his attorneys, his wife, Mr. Franklin, Colonel Park, who flew in from D.C., 3 young men from his program, representatives from Marines United and Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. Darius speaks directly to cameras. My name is Darius Washington, United States Marine Corps veteran. Combat tours in Afghanistan. Wounded in action. Medically retired. Since then, I have dedicated my life to helping young men avoid gang violence. A few days ago, I was racially profiled by Officer Ryan Mitchell. He snatched sunglasses off my face, accused me of theft, called my military tattoos gang signs, called the American flag from my brother's funeral gang colors, searched me without cause, threatened witnesses. I stayed calm. I complied. I did everything I teach young men to do to survive. And it did not matter because to Officer Mitchell, I was guilty of being black in Englewood. Now his attorneys claim I baited him, claim I have gang connections, claim I am using my veteran status for sympathy. Let me be clear. I did not choose to be in that video. But now that it has happened, I am choosing to use my platform to demand change because this is not about me. This is about every black person who gets stopped for no reason, every veteran who comes home and is still treated like a threat, every community that has been over-policed. I am filing a federal civil rights lawsuit against Officer Mitchell, Chicago PD, and Cicero PD. I am demanding Mitchell be fired and decertified. I am demanding Chicago PD implement real reforms under federal oversight. I am demanding an end to departments hiding officer misconduct. And I am doing this not for money. Every dollar from any settlement goes to Veterans Against Violence. Some question my motives. My motive is simple. I want to live in a country where I can stand on a street corner without being assumed to be a criminal. I want young black men not to fear police who are supposed to protect them. If that makes me a race baiter, then I am guilty. If fighting for civil rights makes me an opportunist, then that is what I am. If demanding accountability makes me anti-police, then so be it. But I call it being American. I call it using my rights. I call it refusing to accept injustice. I fought for this country. I bled for this country. I earned the right to demand this country live up to its ideals. And I am not backing down. The room erupts. Cameras flash. Reporters shout questions. Darius does not take questions. He just walks off with his head high and dignity intact. The video goes viral. Public opinion solidifies in Darius's favor. The character assassination backfired. Chicago PD makes its first move. The police chief announces after reviewing the video and conducting a preliminary investigation. Officer Ryan Mitchell has been placed on unpaid administrative leave pending a full internal affairs investigation. If the investigation substantiates misconduct, appropriate disciplinary action will be taken up to and including termination. It is not enough, but it is a start. Cicero PD, facing its own firestorm, announces their police chief is retiring early. The Illinois Attorney General announces the investigation has already found other cases of departments hiding misconduct and passing officers to other agencies. Momentum is building. Change is coming. But the real battle is just beginning. Weeks after the incident, Darius's legal team files a comprehensive federal civil rights lawsuit. Washington versus Mitchell, City of Chicago, Chicago Police Department, City of Cicero, and Cicero Police Department. The complaint is detailed and devastating. Fourth Amendment violation through illegal search. 14th Amendment violation through discriminatory enforcement. Assault and battery. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Negligent hiring and supervision by Chicago PD. Municipal liability against Chicago. Fraudulent misrepresentation by Cicero. Negligent supervision by Cicero. The defendants respond with motions to dismiss. Mitchell claims qualified immunity. Chicago PD claims no municipal liability. Cicero claims no duty to disclose internal investigations. But Darius's attorneys immediately file extensive discovery requests. They demand every complaint against Mitchell, every traffic stop, every search, every arrest, statistical analysis by race, personnel files, body camera footage, text messages, emails, Cicero's internal investigation file, Chicago PD policies, communication between departments regarding Mitchell's hiring, social media accounts. It is an avalanche designed to bury defendants in their own documents. The federal judge, Judge Patricia Hernandez, a Latina woman with years on the bench, rules largely in Darius's favor. The plaintiff has alleged a pattern and practice. Discovery related to that pattern is relevant. The defendants will comply. Later, Darius's attorneys receive boxes of documents, thousands of pages, hundreds of hours of body camera footage. They hire paralegals and law students to find patterns, to find evidence, to find the smoking gun. And they find it over and over. Officer Mitchell's text message group chat with other Chicago PD officers. Mitchell: another day in Thug Central. How many gangbangers can I arrest today? Another officer: bring back some scalps, bro. Mitchell after stops. Just pulled over another suspicious black guy. Turned out to be clean. They cannot all be dirty, I guess. Officer responding: keep fishing. You will catch one eventually. Messages about protests. These BLM idiots do not understand we are protecting them from their own people. Racist memes. Posts celebrating police violence. Body camera footage reveals statistical patterns. Mitchell stops black motorists at high rates. Search rate high, arrest rate high. Latino motorists high rates. White motorists low rates. The disparity is undeniable. Mitchell searches black and Latino drivers at rates far higher than white drivers. He finds contraband at roughly the same rates, meaning elevated searches are not justified. Body camera footage shows patterns in how Mitchell speaks. To black drivers, aggressive, hostile, accusatory, commands immediate escalation. To white drivers, polite, professional, courteous, questions de-escalation. Same officer. Different treatment based entirely on race. But the most damaging evidence comes from Cicero documents. The internal investigation file shows Mitchell was under formal investigation for racial profiling. Specific incidents, complaints, officer witnesses reporting racist comments. Investigation was about to conclude with termination recommendation when Mitchell was offered the resignation deal. The deal was proposed by Cicero's chief in an email. Officer Mitchell, we are prepared to offer you an alternative to termination. Resign voluntarily. We provide a neutral reference. You seek employment elsewhere. Everyone moves forward. If you decline, we proceed to termination hearing and your misconduct becomes public. Your choice. Mitchell accepted. Cicero sent Chicago PD a reference praising his dedication and professional conduct. Chicago PD never followed up, never asked why a young officer was leaving after only a short time, never ran background checks beyond standard criminal history. Just hired him. This is the smoking gun. Cicero knowingly hid misconduct. Chicago PD negligently hired without due diligence. Darius's attorneys compile everything into a comprehensive brief. Judge Hernandez denies all motions to dismiss. The complaint states plausible claims. Qualified immunity is not appropriate given clear constitutional violations supported by video evidence. Discovery has revealed evidence of systemic failures. This case will proceed to trial. Defendants are ordered to mediation. The court wants them to settle. City of Chicago makes an offer. A large sum to Darius. Mitchell fired but not decertified. Department-wide training. No admission of wrongdoing. Confidentiality agreement. Darius rejects immediately. The money goes to the program, not to me. Mitchell gets decertified permanently. No confidentiality. And I want a federal consent decree. Not just training. Real oversight. Real reform. The city balks. We are not accepting federal oversight. Then we go to trial. The city comes back with a higher offer. Mitchell decertified. Oversight board with real authority, but not federal oversight. Public admission that Mitchell violated policy. Darius's attorneys advise this is a good offer. Trial is risky. Juries are unpredictable. Even with great facts, you could lose. Darius asks what message does settling send? That police can violate your rights and just pay money? That systemic problems get solved with cash? Attorney Lopez says, Darius, I have been doing this for years. Most clients just want to move on. You are different. You want to change the system, but you need to understand changing systems takes more than one trial. If you settle, you get resources for your program and some reforms. If you win at trial, you get a bigger verdict and maybe more reforms. If you lose, you get nothing. Darius thinks about his daughters, about his wife, about the kids in his program. We go to trial because even if we lose, we have already won. The video is out there. The text messages will be public at trial. The pattern will be exposed. The system has already been forced to respond. And I need to show those kids that you stand up for what is right, even when it is hard. That is what Marines do. His attorneys smile. All right, Sergeant, we go to war. Months after the incident, trial begins. Day 1, jury selection. After days, they seat a jury. 12 jurors. Diverse group. Good for Darius's case. Opening statements. Attorney Lopez. Ladies and gentlemen, this case is about assumptions. About what happens when a police officer looks at a black man and assumes criminal rather than citizen. Assumes gang member rather than war hero. Sergeant Darius Washington was standing outside a barber shop in his neighborhood where he works with at-risk youth doing absolutely nothing illegal. Officer Ryan Mitchell pulled up, looked at Sergeant Washington and made a decision without investigating, without asking, without having any evidence. He walked up and snatched those sunglasses right off his face. No warning, no explanation. Then accused Sergeant Washington of theft, gang membership, forced him against a wall, and searched him like a criminal. For many minutes, Officer Mitchell interrogated and humiliated a decorated Marine who had done nothing wrong. You are going to see video of this entire encounter. You are going to hear Officer Mitchell's own words. And you are going to wonder, how does this happen? The answer is racial profiling, implicit bias. But it is bigger than one bad stop. This is about a pattern. You are going to hear evidence that Officer Mitchell has dozens of complaints, most from people of color. You are going to see text messages where he refers to black neighborhoods as Thug Central. You are going to learn that Mitchell was investigated for racism at his previous department, that they covered it up and passed him to Chicago PD, that Chicago PD never checked. This case is about holding Officer Mitchell accountable, holding Chicago PD accountable, holding Cicero accountable, making sure this does not happen to anyone else. Sergeant Washington served with honor, fought in Afghanistan, was wounded in combat, earned the Purple Heart, Bronze Star, Navy Cross, came home and dedicated his life to helping young men escape gang violence. And he was treated like a gang member himself, based solely on the color of his skin. That is not acceptable. That is not American. That is why we are here. Defense attorney stands. Damage control. What happened to Mr. Washington was unfortunate. Officer Mitchell made mistakes, but mistakes are not civil rights violations. Officer Mitchell works in a high crime area. He makes dozens of decisions every shift. Sometimes he is right. Sometimes he is wrong. That day, he was wrong. And yes, he should have realized that more quickly. But intent matters. Officer Mitchell was not motivated by racism. He was trying to do his job. When he realized his mistake, the situation was corrected. Mr. Washington got his property back, was not arrested, was not injured, went home to his family. Yes, it was unpleasant. But this is not a federal case. This is minutes of inconvenience. The plaintiff wants millions of dollars. For what? For having to show ID. We respect Mr. Washington's service, but his military service does not entitle him to a windfall. Officer Mitchell has already paid a price, lost his job, reputation destroyed, family torn apart, facing ruin. How much more does he have to lose? The jury looks less convinced because there is a video, and videos do not lie. Darius takes the stand. Attorney Lopez conducts direct examination. Sergeant Washington, what were you doing that afternoon? Darius speaks clearly, calmly. I was outside Mr. Franklin's barber shop. I had just finished a mentoring session. I was on the phone with my former commanding officer discussing program funding. What happened next? Officer Mitchell walked directly toward me and snatched my sunglasses off my face. No warning, just took them. How did that make you feel? Shocked, angry. But I stayed calm, because I teach young men to stay calm during police encounters. It is literally life or death. What did Officer Mitchell say? He asked where I stole the sunglasses. Said they were too expensive for someone like me, someone like you. What did you understand that to mean? Someone black? Someone from the South Side? Someone he assumed was a criminal? What happened next? He looked at my tattoos, called them gang signs. I explained they were military service tattoos, Marine Corps insignia, names of Marines who did not make it home. He did not believe me. Said gang members fake military service. What did you do? I complied, turned around, put my hands on the wall. Because I teach kids that is what you do to survive. You comply, you de-escalate. You survive first. Seek justice later. How did it feel? Darius pauses. Visible emotion. Controlled but real. It felt like everything I had done meant nothing. I served with distinction, fought in combat, was wounded, earned medals, came home, and dedicated my life to helping kids. And in that moment, I was just another black man being assumed guilty. My service did not matter. My character did not matter. All that mattered was the color of my skin. Several jurors are visibly affected. One woman has tears. Lopez shows the video. The jury watches in silence. When it ends, is that accurate? Yes. No further questions. Defense attorney approaches for cross. Mr. Washington, you are a big guy. 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. Yes. And you have a full sleeve of tattoos. Yes. Military tattoos honoring my service. But Officer Mitchell did not know that at first. He could have asked instead of assuming. You were in a neighborhood known for gang activity. I was in my neighborhood where I grew up and work. Yes, there is gang activity. That is why I am there trying to stop it. You can understand why an officer might be extra cautious. Being cautious is different from racial profiling. Officer Mitchell did not stop me because I was acting suspiciously. He stopped me because I am black. You cannot know what he was thinking. I can see the pattern. Most of his complaints are from people of color. He searched black drivers at far higher rates than white drivers. The statistics prove racial profiling. The defense tries different angles. Suggests Darius was combative. Suggests he did not comply quickly. Suggests he is exaggerating for money. Darius does not break, stays calm, stays factual. After an hour, the defense gives up. No further questions. The jury has seen enough. They believe Darius. Over the next days, additional witnesses testify. Monique Washington. My husband came home shaking. He tried to hide it from our daughters, but I saw it. He had a panic attack that night. This broke something in him. Mr. Franklin, I watched Darius grow up. I watched him go to war. I watched him come home a hero. And that day, I watched him be treated like a thug by a cop who decided who he was without knowing anything about him. Dr. Jennifer Martinez, criminology expert. Officer Mitchell's pattern is textbook racial profiling. He stops minority drivers at rates far exceeding their population percentage. He searches them based on race, not behavior. This is discriminatory enforcement. Colonel Jennifer Park. Sergeant Washington is one of the finest Marines I ever commanded. He showed extraordinary courage. For him to be treated as a criminal is an insult to every veteran who served. The plaintiff rests. The defense calls Officer Mitchell. Against his attorney's advice, Mitchell insists on testifying. Direct examination by his own attorney. Officer Mitchell, why did you stop Mr. Washington? I saw a suspicious person in a high-crime area. Visible tattoos, expensive property, area known for gang activity. Based on my training, I believed investigation was warranted. Did you intend to racially profile him? No, absolutely not. I was looking at behavior and circumstances, not race, even as he says it. It sounds hollow. Cross-examination by Attorney Lopez is devastating. Officer Mitchell, you testified you did not intend to racially profile Sergeant Washington, but you sent text messages calling black neighborhoods Thug Central. Correct? Mitchell hesitates. That was a joke. A joke. You think it is funny to dehumanize people you are sworn to protect? No. You texted another suspicious black guy. Turned out to be clean. That was a joke, too. I was frustrated. Frustrated that black men were not criminals. That is your testimony? No, that is not. You stopped black drivers at much higher rates than white drivers. Was that a joke? Mitchell knows this is a trap. I patrol areas with high minority populations. So, you admit you specifically target minority neighborhoods. No, I am assigned. Let us watch some video. Lopez plays body camera footage. 2 stops, 1 white driver, 1 black driver. Similar circumstances. The difference is stark. White driver. Good afternoon, sir. License and registration, please. Just a warning today. Drive safe. Black driver. License and registration. What are you doing in this neighborhood? Is this your car? Step out. Turn around. Hands on the car. Same officer. Different treatment. Only difference is race. How do you explain that? Mitchell cannot. He tries, talks about training, instincts, threat assessment. It all sounds like excuses. Lopez plays the text messages on screen. Mitchell's own words condemning him. You wrote time to clean up the trash. You were referring to human beings, people who deserved your protection, and you called them trash. Do you stand by that? No, that was wrong. Yes, it was wrong. Just like snatching Sergeant Washington's sunglasses was wrong. Just like calling a Purple Heart recipient a fake veteran was wrong. Just like your entire pattern of racist policing was wrong. I am not a racist. Your actions say otherwise. Your texts say otherwise. Your pattern says otherwise. And this jury is going to hold you accountable. Objection. Argumentative. Judge Hernandez. Sustained. Rephrase. Lopez does not need to. She has made her point. No further questions. Mitchell leaves the stand defeated. The jury's faces show what they are thinking. Guilty. Closing arguments. Lopez. Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen the evidence. You have seen the video. You have heard Sergeant Washington. You have heard Officer Mitchell's excuses. Imagine dedicating your life to serving your country. Deployed to combat. Shot at. Watched friends die. Wounded by an IED. Come home. Do not complain. Just want to help your community. Start a program to save kids from gang violence. One afternoon, you were standing outside a barber shop in the neighborhood where you grew up, talking on the phone, wearing sunglasses, doing nothing wrong. and a police officer walks up and snatches those sunglasses off your face, calls you a thief, calls you a gang member, calls your military service fake, forces you against a wall, searches you like a criminal. For many minutes, you have to prove you are innocent. How would that make you feel? That is what happened to Darius Washington. Not because he did anything wrong, but because Officer Mitchell looked at a black man and assumed criminal. The evidence is clear. Video shows everything. Officer Mitchell had no probable cause, no reasonable suspicion, no justification. He violated Sergeant Washington's Fourth Amendment rights, 14th Amendment rights. He assaulted him. He inflicted emotional distress, and it was not isolated. Dozens of complaints from people of color, text messages calling humans trash, statistical proof of racial profiling. But it is bigger than Mitchell. 2 police departments failed. Cicero knew he was racist, investigated him. Instead of firing him, they hid it and passed him to Chicago PD. Chicago PD hired him without checking, without verifying. They tolerated complaints. They created a culture where racial profiling was accepted until he profiled the wrong person, until he targeted a decorated Marine who had resources to fight back, until the video went viral and the world saw what racial profiling really looks like. Darius Washington stayed calm because he teaches young men to stay calm, to comply, to survive, because he knows black men on the South Side face 2 dangers, gangs and police. That is the reality. That is what we are here to change. We are asking you to hold all defendants accountable, to award compensatory damages that reflect true harm, to award punitive damages that send a message this behavior will not be tolerated. Sergeant Darius Washington fought for this country. He bled for this country. He came home and gave his life to saving kids. He deserves justice. This community deserves justice. You have the power to deliver it. The defense stands. He knows he is losing. No one denies Officer Mitchell made mistakes. He should have handled it differently. He should have listened better. But mistakes are not civil rights violations, and unpleasant encounters are not worth millions. Mr. Washington was detained for a short time. That is it. Was not arrested, was not charged, was not injured. Got his property back. Went home. Yes, it was unpleasant. But that does not justify massive damages. The plaintiff wants you to believe this was a racist attack. But Officer Mitchell had legitimate reasons. He was wrong. But being wrong is not racism. The text messages were taken out of context. Private communications between officers letting off steam about difficult job conditions. Officer Mitchell has already paid an enormous price. Lost his job. Career over. Marriage ended. Reputation destroyed. Facing bankruptcy. Life gone. How much more punishment does he deserve? Mr. Washington is sympathetic. We respect his service, but his military status does not entitle him to a windfall. We are asking you to look at this reasonably. Yes, Officer Mitchell made mistakes, but if there are damages, they should be minimal. The defense sits. His argument lands flat. Judge Hernandez reads jury instructions, explains the law, burden of proof, what they need to find for each claim. You will now deliberate. Take as much time as you need. Reach a fair and just verdict. The jury leaves. Darius sits with his family and attorneys waiting. Hours pass. The bailiff announces we have a verdict. Everyone rushes back. The jury files in. Judge Hernandez. Has the jury reached a verdict? Jury foreperson. A middle-aged Asian American woman stands. Yes, Your Honor. The clerk reads in Washington versus Mitchell et al. We find as follows. Count 1. Fourth Amendment violation by Mitchell in favor of plaintiff, liable. Count 2. 14th Amendment violation in favor of plaintiff, liable. Count 3. Assault and battery in favor of plaintiff, liable. Count 4. Intentional infliction of emotional distress in favor of plaintiff, liable. Count 5. Negligent supervision by Chicago PD in favor of plaintiff, liable. Count 6. Municipal liability against City of Chicago in favor of plaintiff, liable. Count 7. Fraudulent misrepresentation by Cicero in favor of plaintiff, liable. Count 8. Negligent supervision by Cicero in favor of plaintiff, liable. Compensatory damages $2.5 million. Punitive damages against Officer Mitchell personally, $500,000. Punitive damages against City of Chicago, $1 million. Punitive damages against City of Cicero, $700,000. Total damages $4.7 million. The courtroom erupts. Veterans stand and applaud. Community members cheer. Darius closes his eyes, takes a breath, opens them, and looks at Monique. She is crying happy tears. Judge Hernandez bangs her gavel. Order. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You are dismissed. Officer Mitchell sits in shock. His attorneys whispering urgently. He is personally liable for hundreds of thousands. He does not have it. He will declare bankruptcy. His life is over. Darius's attorneys are shaking hands, congratulating their client. Lopez whispers to Darius, "You did it. Complete victory. One of the biggest civil rights verdicts in Chicago history." Darius nods, but he does not feel triumphant. He feels exhausted, relieved. But mostly he feels like the real work is just beginning. Because money does not change systems. Verdicts do not reform police departments. This is just one battle. The war is far from over. After the verdict, Darius exits the courthouse. A massive crowd waits outside. Protesters with signs. Veterans organizations celebrating. Marines in uniform salute as Darius walks past. Darius stops to thank them, to shake hands, to accept congratulations. Then someone approaches through the crowd. A man in his 50s, white, wearing a suit. He walks to Darius, extends his hand. "Sergeant Washington, my name is Robert Miller. I am a captain with Chicago PD. Can I speak with you privately?" Darius's attorneys step forward, protective. "Our client is not discussing. I am not here on behalf of Chicago PD. I am here personally. Please, just a few minutes." Darius studies him, reading body language. This man is not a threat. He is nervous, sincere. All right. A few minutes. They walk to a quiet spot. Captain Miller speaks. "Sergeant Washington, I have been on Chicago PD for decades. Many years supervising officers, training them, promoting them, protecting them when they got complaints. I told myself I was being a good supervisor, supporting my team, defending the thin blue line. But I watched your trial. Every day I heard the testimony. I saw the video again. I read the text messages. I looked at the statistical evidence and I realized something. I am part of the problem. Every complaint I dismissed without investigating. Every time I told an officer, 'Do not worry, the union will protect you.' Every time I saw something questionable and looked away, I enabled this. Me and supervisors like me. We created Ryan Mitchell. We created a culture where young officers learned they could profile minorities without consequences. I did not snatch your sunglasses, but I might as well have because I let dozens of complaints against Mitchell disappear. I am ashamed, and I am sorry." Darius listens, lets this man say what he needs to say. Miller continues, "I am retiring soon. I do not care about my career anymore. I care about leaving Chicago PD better than I found it. You wanted reform, accountability, systemic change. I can help you get it. I have decades of documentation about how complaints get buried, about unwritten rules that protect bad cops, about how supervisors enable misconduct. I am willing to testify, to provide evidence, to be a whistleblower, to burn down the blue wall, if that is what it takes." Darius is quiet, processing. "Why should I trust you? You just admitted you have been part of the problem for years. Why change now?" Miller nods. "Fair question. Honest answer. My grandson is a young boy. He is black. My daughter married a black man. Recently, my grandson asked me, 'Grandpa, are you one of the bad police?' And I did not have a good answer, because I am not a bad cop in obvious ways. I never shot anyone who did not deserve it. I never beat suspects, never planted evidence, but I protected cops who did profile, who did abuse authority, who did violate rights. So, am I one of the bad police? Yeah, I am. And I need to make that right." Darius sees the truth in his eyes. This man is serious. This man wants redemption. "What exactly are you offering?" "Everything. Documents showing how internal affairs investigations are rigged. Audio recordings of supervisors coaching officers. Evidence of quotas incentivizing over-policing in minority neighborhoods. Real training materials that contradict what we tell the public. The whole system exposed. Use me or do not. I understand if you do not trust me, but I am offering information that could force real reform." Darius looks back at the crowd, at the veterans celebrating, at his wife and daughters, at the attorneys who just won him millions. This is not about money. It never was. It is about change. I will consider your offer. But understand something. I am not doing this to destroy Chicago PD. I am doing it to fix Chicago PD so the next young black man does not go through what I went through. So your grandson can grow up trusting police? Miller nods. That is exactly why I'm here. Give your contact to my attorney. We will be in touch. They shake hands. Miller walks away looking relieved. Lopez approaches. What was that? A police captain offering to be a whistleblower, offering evidence of how the system really works. Do you trust him? I do not know yet, but if he is genuine, he could be the key to real reform. Not just settling the lawsuit, actually changing how Chicago PD operates. Lopez smiles. You are not celebrating. You are already planning the next battle. The verdict was just the opening shot. The real fight starts now. Over the next weeks, Captain Miller proves himself. He provides documents, recordings, evidence of systemic corruption in complaint investigations, proof that supervisors coach officers to write reports justifying questionable stops. He shows how the system works. Officer makes bad stop. Civilian complains. Internal affairs interviews officer who has been coached. They interview witnesses but do not push. When stories conflict, they write report concluding actions within policy. They close case. Officer learns there are no consequences. Repeat this thousands of times, and you get a culture where civil rights violations are routine and accountability is non-existent. Miller testifies before the Federal Monitor, testifies before Chicago City Council, testifies before the Illinois legislature. He becomes known as the cop who broke the blue wall. Other officers call him traitor. He receives death threats. His car is vandalized. Former friends will not speak to him, but he does not back down. Because he is doing this for his grandson, for every black kid who deserves to grow up safe. With Miller's evidence, the Department of Justice launches a comprehensive investigation into Chicago PD's pattern and practice of civil rights violations. Findings are damning. DOJ concludes Chicago PD has engaged in systematic racial profiling, excessive force, and retaliation against officers who report misconduct. They impose a consent decree, federal oversight, comprehensive reforms, complete overhaul of complaint investigation with civilian oversight, board with subpoena powers, and independent investigators. Early intervention system tracking every officer's stop, search, use of force, complaint. Officers showing patterns get mandatory retraining or removal. Mandatory body cameras for all officers with footage automatically uploaded and preserved. Real implicit bias training designed by academics and community members. Whistleblower protections for officers who report misconduct. Public database of all complaints, investigations, outcomes. Complete transparency. Ban on hiring officers with misconduct histories from other departments. Statewide decertification database. All departments must check. Community policing reforms requiring officers to know neighborhoods they patrol. To build relationships. To see residents as people, not suspects. The consent decree is one of the most comprehensive in the nation, and it happened because Darius Washington refused to settle quietly, because he demanded systemic change, because he used his platform to force accountability. A year after the verdict, Darius Washington stands outside the same barber shop on the corner in Englewood. Same spot where Mitchell snatched his sunglasses, but everything is different. He is wearing the same sunglasses. They survived everything. Symbolic. The barber shop has expanded. Veterans Against Violence now operates out of a larger facility next door, funded by settlement money. Every penny going to the program exactly as promised. The program has grown exponentially. Original Englewood location expanded. Capacity tripled. 3 new locations in other Southside neighborhoods and nearby communities. Same model. Veterans mentoring at-risk youth. Results. Hundreds of young men through the program with high success rates. No arrests or gang involvement. Many enrolled in college or job training. Some graduates became police officers, determined to be the change from inside. Darius runs the organization full-time now, graduated with his social work degree. But he has not forgotten the mission. Every Saturday he still goes to the original barber shop, still talks to kids, still teaches them how to survive police encounters. As he stands there, a police car pulls up. Darius tenses slightly. Old instinct. But he recognizes the officer who steps out. Officer Malcolm Jenkins. Young, black. Fresh out of the academy, part of Chicago PD's new recruitment push. Mr. Washington. Jenkins extends his hand. Darius shakes it. Officer Jenkins, how is the beat? Good. Really good. I am the new community liaison officer for this area, part of consent decree requirements. Every neighborhood gets an assigned officer who actually knows the community. That is progress, it is. And, Mr. Washington, I wanted to thank you. They teach us about your case in the academy. They show the video. Use it as an example of everything that can go wrong when you make assumptions based on race. There is literally a training module called Do Not Be Officer Mitchell. Darius smiles slightly. Bitter irony. His humiliation is now police training material. How is it taught? What is the message? That implicit bias is real. That it affects everyone, including cops. That you have to actively fight your assumptions. That black men are not suspects just for existing. That veterans deserve respect. That you check your biases, or you do not deserve the badge. That is good. That is what needed to happen. My sergeant, Sergeant Hayes, told me to tell you she is retiring soon. She wanted you to know she is proud of what you did. Tell her I will be at her ceremony. Jenkins nods. You know I joined Chicago PD because of you. I watched your case. I saw what you went through and what you did with it, and I thought if I become a cop, I can be part of the solution. There are many of us in the recent academy class who joined because of your case. We are going to do it different. Darius feels emotion catching. This is why he fought. This is what change looks like. Good. We need cops like you. Cops who understand the community. Cops who see people, not threats. Cops who remember the badge is about service, not power. That is the goal, sir. Jenkins gets in his car, drives slowly down the street, stops to talk to kids on the corner. Respectful, friendly, human. Darius watches him, sees the difference, sees the change. Then he goes into the barber shop. Today's mentoring session is about to start. 7 young men waiting, ages teens, all at risk. Darius greets each one by name, knows their stories, knows their struggles. They settle into chairs. Darius begins the way he always begins. All right, who had interactions with police this week? 3 hands go up. First kid, Jamal. I was walking home from school. Cop pulled up, asked where I was going. I told him. He asked to see my ID. I showed him. He asked what I had in my backpack. I told him school books. He asked to search it. I said no. He said he could detain me. I said, okay, but I am not consenting to a search. He looked at me weird. Then let me go. Darius nods. You did everything right. You were polite. You did not consent to a legal search. You knew your rights, but you did not escalate. You stayed safe. That is exactly what I teach. How did it feel? Scary. But I remembered what you said. Stay calm. Know your rights. Do not give them an excuse. I wanted to run, but I knew running makes it worse. Good. Running gets people killed. You survived. You protected your rights. You won. Second kid, DeAndre. I got pulled over. Broken taillight. Officer was cool, actually. Latina woman. She explained why she stopped me. She was polite. She gave me a warning, told me to get it fixed. It was normal, like how it is supposed to be. That is progress. That is what policing should be. You are going to have interactions. Some will be bad, some will be good. The goal is surviving all of them. They talk for hours about rights, about racism, about staying safe, about alternatives to gang life, about education, about future. Darius does not sugarcoat anything, does not pretend racism is solved, does not pretend all cops are good now, does not pretend the system is fixed, but he does give them hope because change is happening, because his case mattered, because things are better than they were. At the end, Jamal asks Mr. Washington, do you ever regret it? Fighting the case, going through all that. Darius thinks. Honest answer. Sometimes the trial was hard. Reliving that day over and over, having my life dissected, Death threats, watching my daughters see their daddy on TV, being treated like a criminal. It cost me. It cost my family. But would I do it again? Absolutely. Because that one afternoon changed everything. Not just for me, for this community, for Chicago PD, for police departments across Illinois. The millions did not go in my pocket. It went into this program, into helping kids like you. That money has saved lives, kept kids out of gangs. And the reforms, body cameras that work, oversight boards with real power, officers who face consequences, training that addresses bias. That is all because of that case. So no, I do not regret it. Some things are bigger than comfort. Some fights are worth the cost. The kids nod, understanding, inspired. One young man says quietly, I am joining the Marines because of you. I want to serve. I want to be like you. Darius feels pride and fear. Pride that he has inspired this kid. Fear for what that kid will face. But maybe it will be different. Maybe by the time this kid comes home, things will be better. Maybe the reforms will have taken root. Maybe. Darius stands. All right, that is it for today. Stay safe, make good choices, and remember you are not suspects. You are not thugs. You are not statistics. You are young men with futures. Do not let anyone make you forget that. They leave one by one thanking him, walking out into the afternoon with their heads higher. Darius stays behind with Mr. Franklin. The old barber smiles. You did good, son. Your brother would be proud. Tyrone, gone many years, killed by gang violence after Army service. Darius thinks about him every day. Wonders what Tyrone would think of all this. I hope so, Mr. Franklin. I hope so. Darius walks outside. Monique and his daughters wait in the car. Saturday family ritual. Brianna asks Daddy, did you help those kids today? I tried, baby. I tried. Are you a hero, Daddy? Darius thinks. No, baby, I am not a hero. I am just someone who stood up when it was hard. That is what we all have to do. Stand up when it matters. Taylor. My teacher said you changed the police. Is that true? I helped. A lot of people helped. It was not just me. Change takes everyone. Monique drives through the neighborhood past the corner where it happened, past the spot where Darius stood against that wall. That spot is marked now. Someone spray-painted a mural. Darius in Marine uniform, American flag behind him, words underneath. Semper Fi, justice for all. The mural has become a landmark, a reminder, a symbol. Darius looks at it as they drive past, remembers that day, the sunglasses, the accusations, the search, the humiliation. And he remembers what he did with that moment, how he turned it into change, how he refused to be silent, how he made his sacrifice mean something. That night, Darius sits on his porch, daughters asleep. Monique beside him, looking at the stars. You did it, she says. You actually changed things. We are not done. There is so much more to do. I know. But tonight, celebrate the victory. You earned it. Darius nods, takes a breath, lets himself feel it. Pride, relief, hope. He thinks about Colonel Park's words. How are you doing, Sergeant? Back then, he said, I am good, ma'am. It was not true then, but it is true now. He is good. His family is safe. His program is thriving. The reforms are happening. Young officers are being trained differently. The system is changing. Not fixed, not perfect, but better. And better is progress. Better is victory. Better is worth fighting for. Darius Washington, United States Marine Corps, retired. Purple Heart, Bronze Star with Valor, Navy Cross, Congressional Medal of Honor nominee, founder and director of Veterans Against Violence, plaintiff in Washington versus Mitchell, the civil rights case that reformed police departments across Illinois. Husband, father, mentor, advocate, not a victim, not a statistic, not a suspect. A man who stood on a corner one afternoon and was profiled for being black, who stayed calm, who gathered evidence, who demanded accountability, who refused to accept injustice, and who changed a city by refusing to stay silent. Semper Fidelis, always faithful to the mission, to the community, to the cause of justice. That is Darius Washington's story. That is what happened when one racist cop snatched sunglasses off the wrong man's face. That is what change looks like when someone fights back. Not with violence, not with revenge, but with law, with evidence, with persistence, with absolute refusal to let injustice go unchallenged. Officer Mitchell thought Darius was powerless, just another black man he could intimidate. He was wrong. Darius Washington was not powerless. He was strategic. He was connected. He was determined. He was a Marine who understood mission focus, and he used every resource to force change. The sunglasses Mitchell snatched cost $400. The lesson Mitchell learned cost him everything. But the change that came from that moment, priceless. Because now, when police officers in Chicago approach black men on street corners, they hesitate. They think. They remember what happened to Officer Mitchell. They remember assumptions can be wrong. Racial profiling has consequences. That black man might be a war hero, might be a community leader, might be someone who will fight back. And even if he is not, he still has rights. He still deserves dignity. He still deserves to stand on a street corner without being assumed to be a criminal. That is the change. That is the victory. That is what Darius Washington accomplished. One man, one video, one lawsuit, one verdict, and a city that will never be the same. In the end, Darius Washington's story teaches us one of the most powerful lessons life has to offer. True strength is not measured by how loudly you fight back, but by how calmly you stand your ground when the world tries to break you. A decorated Marine, a hero who bled for his country, was reduced to nothing more than the color of his skin in a single moment of ignorance and bias. Yet instead of rage or revenge, he chose composure, dignity, and courage. He turned a moment of humiliation into a movement for justice, proving that real power lies in patience, truth, and an unwavering commitment to something bigger than yourself. His story reminds us that assumptions can destroy lives, but character, resilience, and quiet determination can rebuild them, and even change entire systems along the way. No matter what battles you face, whether it's prejudice, doubt, or injustice, never forget, staying calm doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to fight smarter and strong enough to protect what truly matters. If Darius's journey moved you, touched your heart, or opened your eyes, drop a comment below and tell me, what's one moment in your life where staying calm changed everything? Share your story. I read every single one. And if you believe in stories that inspire real change, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a powerful message like this. Together, let's keep choosing courage over anger and hope over hate. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.